No,
Good morning.
Jeff,
How you doing? Good morning.
yeah, good morning. Yeah, I was just, I don't know who was doing a hokey cokey with the recording, starting and stopping it, is what they were. But, gosh, tired.
Long week.
Crazy week. Another crazy week, is what it is. But all good, I think. What about you?
Yeah, busy week. I'm all just last couple of weeks have been okay. This week's slightly slower, but there's a lot of things that we're doing, a lot of planning that we're making. So yeah, generally we're quite busy, but I think overall, Ammar, I think I feel as though that economy is slow, very slow at the moment.
Mm, yeah, it's interesting times. Yeah, the economy's slow, but life's getting fast, isn't it?
Time's faster, isn't it?
Yeah. Like as
Time
in
goes
just time.
fast, and obviously maybe it's just how hectic our lives are, and it's that race, isn't it? It's that race that everybody's in, the race of survival, and then you probably have to work more and deal with more just to stay where you were yesterday. And I think that's quite. You can see that. I can see it and I can feel it.
Um, yeah, it is, and it does. It's um, interesting times is what it is. I think it's just because we're immersed all of the time with like digital news, things like that. Is what it is. So it's uh, is what where we are. Anyway, good morning, listeners and viewers. You're listening to Ammar and
Gaff.
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
And each week we'll try and bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Yeah. Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops, whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help. We can help. And we do help. Yeah. Anyway, it's Friday, 25th of July. Um, and the sun's shining, is what it is.
It's been brilliant weather. The sun is not shining on our club, though, Ammar. I think there's an important business discussion to be had there because I just want to get your understanding on this because obviously you've got links to the Saudis. You probably know a lot more about their growth, their development, their ambitions. We're just a bit baffled um, as Newcastle fans with what's happening with the club, especially Alexander Isak. And there's a whole lot of debate all around the country in every single sports medium, from Sky News to Talk Sport, all the fans on the street, barbers, builders, hairdressers. And I was caught in the mix of all of that yesterday when Alexander Isak dropped the bombshell that he hasn't gone to Singapore and he's exploring other options. And I just want to take you back to the last game of the season where we had that game against Everton and we lost 1-0. But Manchester United done us a favour and we managed to get into the Champions League. And we thought, what a fantastic achievement. PIF's been with us for 3 years, and within 3 years, we've been in Champions League twice.
Yeah.
We won a cup, and we're in to the Champions League again. And just myself, as a layman, as a fan, I thought to myself, right, this is it. This is the opportunity. We must grasp this opportunity and get some great players because we're in Champions League, use that as a catalyst to then get closer to the big teams. Whilst we did beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final, there's still a gap between Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and ourselves. And we thought that, yeah, 4 or 5 great players, we'll get up there and put ourselves in the mix so that we can just be a bit more competitive with them. And we have been competitive over the last few years, but just get a bit closer.
Yeah.
But PIF have gone missing. So there isn't the chief executive officer, Darren Eales, he's on medical leave. So technically, he's not there anymore doing anything. There hasn't been an official announcement that he's left, but he's on medical leave officially, right? The sporting director, Paul Mitchell, strangely, he left on like a few days after the season ended, which was really strange because if you just cut into this, just using our business instincts, Ammar, if he left with good relations, he would have said that, right, look, I'm going to see you through this transfer window because I'm the sporting director. We've got a number of targets in the pipeline. Let me do these deals. And look, yeah, I need to move on because the dynamic here is not quite correct, and I've got other ambitions or whatever it may be. But let me just do these deals because I have that's the integrity that I have towards my job, because I love my job. I love doing the deals. I want to do a few more deals for the club, and I'm professional. I have professional responsibility, and then I'm going to go. But he didn't do that. He just either he walked or he was let go. We don't know exactly what happened, and he was gone. And apparently Eddie Howe admitted that soon as Eddie Howe didn't even know about it, and soon as he got the news, Eddie Howe was like, his phone was going crazy. Everyone asking him what's going on. So we don't have a CEO, we don't have a sporting director, and then that was all left on young Andy Howe's shoulders. And he's in recruitment. He's Eddie Howe's nephew. He's really, really good at his job, identifying players and doing all of that. But he's still in his 30s. So I think sporting director, you need those, wildly old foxes, Ammar, like in their like 50s, that know how to do the deals. You would have met a lot of people in business over the years. You go and meet an older guy and he's like smooth, he's endearing. You can feel like a nice connection. He makes you feel important. He knows what to say. He's wise, he's intelligent, he's calm. He can see the big picture, and he knows how to negotiate, and he can get those deals through the lines. And Andy Howe will be that, but he probably needs a few more years to be able to have those experiences. So I'm just baffled as to how Pierre wouldn't have said to them, right, okay, we don't have a CEO, we don't have a sporting director, but we're going to give you a team of 3 people. These are my top negotiators. You've got lots of businesses around the world, right? We're going to bring you a negotiating team to take us through the next 3 months whilst there's a bit of, gaps currently in the club. Why would that not be a logical way to do things, Ammar? And instead of that, because they didn't do all of that, like the biggest player that we have, one of the best strikers in the world, he's become unsettled because apparently he was offered a new contract and he's wanting out, which is just a crying shame.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, from a business aspect, what do you think's happened with PIF, and why have they not gone and done?
Never. Sorry. What do you mean? What's happened with PIF?
Well, if there's no CEO and if there's no sporting director, and why can't they have an interim team to cover those positions, and instead there's like no one there to do the.
Have they not brought in a technical director?
Yeah, but he's like a 32-year-old dude, man. He's like there to look at the computer and say that, oh yeah, well this guy does this, and this. He's just those.
How do you know that? That's not very nice, is it? He might be the biggest
I'm not saying anything bad about him. He's like a computer geek, isn't he? He's going to look at statistics and he's going to give you. You're the sporting director, right? What he's going to do is he's going to say, oh look, sir, I've done some checks on him and he does this, and this. So he does that work for the sporting director, and it takes a lot of time probably, and he's going to pull all the data together and he's going to do a summary on all the different players, and the sporting director might ask him that, oh well, what's his pacing here? Is he press resistance? Is he this? Is he this? Is he this? And he's going to give him the statistics and he's going to give the comparables. That's his job.
No, I don't know. I don't know. As in, I don't know. I just think, as in, it might be, yeah, the world of football's changing. The different type of roles that traditionally might be more significant than others. The areas that you need is obviously Eddie Howe's a brilliant manager. He's fantastic. He's doing what he's doing, and as long as the rest of the club's looking after the rest of the club, so the commercial, Peter Silverstone's done an amazing job there. I mean, admittedly, I don't appreciate having to pay as much as I'm having to pay, but more broadly, the more you pay, the more hopefully the better the experience and the value. And generally, you don't know what type of there's a range of. I, I don't know what I don't know, but there may be some ethical as well as contractual arrangements with Darren Eales, who's not well, right? As in, they might
Yeah,
go, we don't want to terminate your contract because actually,
no.
ethically, it's
They've
the
been
wrong thing to do.
no. I think he's given his notice and he's on medical leave. It's not that. It's nothing. It's just that they're looking to appoint somebody, and they're doing shortlist, but it's taken a year for them to appoint a CEO. I mean, well, I'm not criticizing PIF. PIF have been brilliant for us compared to what Mike Ashley has done, but I'm just trying to understand from a business standpoint, if you're left in a dilemma, and we've just got little businesses in comparison to these multinationals, but if you've got your key individuals missing for a period of X amount of months, if you don't fill that void, that's going to cause your business some issues. And I think from the outside, that's exactly what's happened here, because you don't have two top key individuals, and that's causing your business major problems in a very critical moment. And I'm just wondering why you didn't have an interim team, and why did you not foresee that you were going to have these issues because your key individuals are missing? I think it's just quite logical from a business standpoint from the outside, and I would have thought PIF were savvy enough to, and they've got enough connections, enough members to send a team to help the recruitment process at this stage. In the past, when they were struggling, Amanda herself was doing the deals because she was a deal maker.
Yeah,
But they don't like Amanda. Imagine, like, she's done some big deals over the years, and and they don't have. So imagine if she was here at this stage. I think things would have been a lot calmer, because she would have been able to speak to Isak, understand his needs, and maybe keep him calm and give him a special contract because he's a very unique player, and help doing some other deals based on what Eddie and the team wanted. So they don't really have that, and I don't think Jamie Rubin he's another young lad, isn't he?
yes.
He's there because obviously the parents' money, and he's got a love for football, and he's the owner of Newcastle. But maybe his fathers could imagine them doing the deals as opposed to. I'm sure Jamie's good in business, but he's still very young, isn't he?
It is. But that's the thing. Anyway, I appreciate your concerns. It's dead easy to stand on the sidelines and tell people what to do and how to do it, and without understanding the intricacies of the business and that environment and things like that. The sad state of affairs is quite simply, whenever anyone mentions Saudi or PIF, anyone that you're trying to recruit will automatically go, well, I want triple what I would take somewhere else, right? So money is, and greed becomes a key core driver, as opposed to, actually, it's one of the greatest places in the world. It's one of the best cities. The fans are fantastic. It's a great menu. We're doing really well. Look at what you could do. But anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, interesting times. Anyway, I was sad. I had tickets to go to the Celtic game. I don't want our show business to be about football, but it's relevant to the economy.
There's a lot of business.
Yeah, I did have tickets. Well, actually, it's now turning personal. I did have tickets to the Celtic game, and I didn't go. And I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been so sad to see them lose for, it's just shocking, isn't it?
Mm.
Anyway, what else is going on in the world, Jaff? The UK and India trade deal was confirmed.
And is that a big deal, Ammar?
Well, it's a deal. As to whether it's a big deal, I think it's like any deal. Well, what does it actually mean? So what it means is Indian export access to the UK. So approximately 99% of Indian goods, including textiles, foodstuffs, jewellery, leather, pharmaceuticals and engineering products, will enter the UK duty-free. UK exports to India, average tariffs reduced from 15 to 3%. Select items like whiskey and gin tariffs cut from 150% now to 75%, falling to 40% over the next 10 years. Automotive sector tariffs on British car exports, initially over 100%, are sharply reduced, is what it is. Trade volume and impact, so projected boost. Obviously, you take everything with a pinch of salt. Bilateral trade is expected to grow by 25.5 billion annually by 240, with ambitions to double trade to US 120 billion by 2030. So we're building up those gaps. UK estimated net gain of 4.8 billion per year and 6 billion in investment opportunities, supporting 2,200 UK jobs. Is what that is. So yeah, it's interesting. It's like any trade deal. There are some issues and challenges. So critics, so some people who were critical of it, and remaining issues are non-tariff safeguards. The deal lacks firm binding safeguards on labour rights, environmental protections and public health standards. Investment treaty deadlock. Critical bilateral investment protections such as duration, post-termination and tax dispute resolution are still unresolved, and risks for SMEs, small firm face certification and compliance hurdles, and heightened competition in autos, electronics and certain processed goods. And carbon border issue. UK's proposed carbon border adjustment mechanism may adversely impact Indian exports, with potential annual losses. Unless addressed. I mean, all of this information is on the internet, but the fact that we have a deal and it's signed and it's with India and who's a state and a nation that we've been working with for a very, very long time, Jeff, is what we have. So it's quite exciting for us in the Northeast. It's quite exciting for the International Space Station and the Freeport at Teesside. So that's that. What's happening in the news elsewhere, Jeff? What are you hearing?
I think the things that you hear in the news, even the mainstream news, is the genocide in Gaza. I think even like the BBC and the mainstream media have decided to jump on that and show the horrific images of kids being starved and dying of hunger, which is just absolutely ridiculous that in 2025 as a world we can allow that to happen and no one's actually can do anything about it, which is just it's incredible, isn't it? So for the mainstream media to finally jump on something, while this has been happening for such a long time. I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe they're thinking that, oh well, hey, enough is enough. We have to do something now, otherwise we're going to be complicit. I don't know what the reasons are, but I've seen images on the front pages of the Mail and stuff like that. Stop this now, and A, B, C, and D. But I don't get it. I don't get it as a world we can't stop. We can't allow the trucks into Gaza to get them fed. It's horrific.
Yeah, it was an interesting debate. I was listening to Radio 4 in between listening to Spice FM, obviously. So, and the representative from Israel, of the Prime Minister's office was. It's sad he was shouting it like Nick Robinson, the presenter, and calling Nick a liar about stuff. And it was just a very challenging thing. Anyway, it's a sad state of affairs, is what it is. I find it slightly shameful that.
I think it's beyond sad. I think it's there's no way that humanity should be built on morality. Shouldn't be built on the success of a person isn't to do with really their wealth achievements. It's to do with if you think about it, it's to do with morality and kindness. That's your kind of success. How much of a good person are you? How kind are you? And I think and all of these are all written there and it's all, the guidance is already there on how a UN should behave and how countries should behave and A, B, C, and D. So I think throughout history, whoever's created all of these international laws and created the concept of United Nations and rules of how countries should conduct themselves, it's all there. So they've done the groundwork, they've already put things in place, but who's there to police that? I think that's the issue. And if a nation is not going to prepared to listen or be policed when they're doing something that's wrong because the powers that be are on that side, and that's a whole lot of double standards, then you allow a situation like this. The problem is if us as humans, if we allow that to happen just because it's in a particular part of the world, you've set a standard that what if that comes here tomorrow? Are we going to all be in uproar because it's happening to us? But you've just accepted that, humanity just accepted it somewhere else. So I just think that it's really dangerous because the what's going to be acceptable morally, the whole dynamic of the world could change for this. And that's why, people a lot more intelligent than you and I are saying that you can't allow this to be the status quo because humanity is in a very, very dark place if you allow that to happen.
Yeah. Well, you just said, as you said, you set precedents on you.
Yeah.
Precedent. Anyway, something more positive. We're going to have Councillor Aaron Roy on our radio show very shortly. He is a councillor from Hartlepool and founder of the Hartlepool Grizzlies Kabaddi Club. and I'm super excited because actually, Jeff, you need to come tomorrow. There's a big tournament in Hartlepool Kabaddi.
Yeah.
We're all going down in the morning for a few hours. You need to come. I'll come and get you. Is what we'll do. So I think it's brilliant.
I used to play kabaddi, man. When I was on holiday in Bangladesh, we were playing kabaddi. It's quite an interesting sport, isn't it? It's a very interesting sport.
Like a combination of tag and wrestling.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's good. It's good when it's just different. It's something that we would have never done here in the UK. It's not a thing, but it's obviously very big in the subcontinent.
It's not, and Aaron's created this tournament, and he's also organising a World Cup here as well.
I like the name. Name.
Yeah, the Grizzlies Kabaddi Club. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, I'm super excited. Delighted to have Aaron on our radio show. He will be joining us any minute, hopefully, and then we'll get him live on air. In the meantime, let's continue with broader news and views. I think your point. The world seems to be imploding, and sadly, the impact on businesses is significant as well, isn't it?
I feel it is, Ammar. And what we've obviously just touched upon what's happening in Gaza, but there's all hell breaking loose in Syria. There's a war with I don't know anything about this one, but Cambodia and Thailand. What's that all about? Do you know anything about that? Because that's all kicking off. Obviously, you got Russia and Ukraine.
Mm.
It's just all just absolutely. It's just
Well,
absolutely.
I think it goes back to your point around setting precedents and, people doing what they just feel as if they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, four things you need to. Let's just have a quick read about this. Um, so, broader, wider news is hot weather boosted retail sales in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because that's against the norm. Because normally, hot weather affects retail sales.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So retail sales rebounded in June as the hot weather boosted fuel and supermarket sales, according to official data. So sales volumes were up by 0.9% in the month, said the Office for National Statistics. People bought more drinks at supermarkets and summer clothes, while fuel sales were up as consumers ventured out and about in the sunshine. It's really interesting, isn't it? The correlation between people's behaviors and the impact of that more broadly. Going back to your point, the maybe that's what's happened in retail, but if you then looked at hospitality, it's probably had a detrimental impact, hasn't it? There's less people sort of going out for restaurants and food because the sun's shining and things like that. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. Some people have barbecues at home and stuff, and it's just when the sun comes, when you get the first burst of nice weather, there's an immediate drop because people, oh my God, the sun's out, come round to ours, we're gonna have a barbecue, and everyone just jumps on that opportunity. And then if the sun continues, then I think that just drop a bit and you go back to normality a little. So yeah, the weather has an impact on business for sure. It's up and down, but my understanding is retail, as in shops such as Phoenix and the high street. Usually, when the sun is out, they suffer. Their businesses drop.
Yeah, I agree. I suppose, Tesco's has had a booming year when you look at their facts and figures. It's quite interesting. Um, and yeah, it's um, but coming back to this, people bought more drinks in supermarkets, fuel sales were up. The rise comes after sales fell by 2.8% in May, which was more than the ONS had previously estimated, Jeff.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. So, just looking at these figures, food and things like that, sales at non-food stores rose, with clothing benefiting. Is what it is. I was going to say, do you get into town? How's busy? What's happening in the city centre at Newcastle itself, Jeff?
Last couple of weeks or more, because it was graduation, the city centre was very, very busy. It was a major boost because you've got all the international students and their families coming in for graduation. So all the hotels, restaurants, very, very busy. And this week, I've noticed a big drop off. But there's some interesting things. So there's a big pirate ship that's on the quayside. Have you heard about that? It's from
I've seen a pirate ship. Yeah.
500 years old. So there's some like touristy things happening, and it does bring an influx of people into the city. I do see a lot of tourists around at this moment. The weather is lovely also. Um, but I think there's not a boost in the city centre at the moment. I think in about 3 weeks' time, when the football starts, the season starts again, obviously you're going to get lots of people coming into the city again.
Brilliant. Anyway, our wonderful guest is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
Apologies for the delay.
don't
I'm late
worry.
by 4 minutes. I was
Well
actually
done.
half an hour early, and I became like 4 minutes late.
Don't you worry about a thing. And let's kick off with our special guest. Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
Hello. My name is Aaron Roy, and I'm from Hartlepool, and I'm actually the first BAME elected BAME councillor for Hartlepool, so which never happened before. So I kind of feel very proud for that achievement. Amongst when people say that you can't really win this area because you're different, and then I won almost double the votes which my opposition got. So that kind of showcase it's not the race or the color what you are. It's more about how you interact with people. And I'm very proud to say I actually spoke to almost 2,000 households in my ward and spoke to them face to face to say, there you go, I'm your candidate, and this is what I stand for. And that kind of motivated me to bring more my community, my culture, our community to the northeast, and we're doing the first ever Tri-Nations Kabaddi tournament. And Kabaddi is something very close to a lot of us, very close to me as well, very close to my heart as well. So yeah, that's the big news, and I'm glad that you are there, Ammar, as well, and ABC is there in Spice FM. So I can't wait for tomorrow.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. And let me introduce my fellow co-host, co-founder of ABC, and conjoined with me, my conscious and my friend, Jaff. Jaff,
How you doing,
say
Aaron?
hello.
Good. I did see some of your performances on the Spice FM channel. Was it the other day when there was an event? Because I just saw it on Facebook.
I think you might be talking about the Masala Festival.
Oh, okay.
Jamaat.
Jamal?
Yeah, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, so brilliant. Well done. Congratulations. We're delighted that you are a first in Hartlepool. Hartlepool's got a great history, and when Jaff mentioned pirates, it was renowned for pirates, is what it was. And I think some people might say it's still got some people in there that it's got historic. It's got a historic museum, maritime, and things like this.
And
It's brilliant.
we've got the Trincomalee, which is one of the last floating frigates, which is actually made in Bombay, and it's here. So
Was it really?
yeah,
I didn't know it was made in Bombay. That's
yes,
brilliant.
Trincomalee was
So,
made in Bombay, and it's one of the last sailing or floating frigates in the UK. So there's another piece of history.
fantastic. Thank you. And Aaron, tell us, well, yeah, I'm curious. It might be a separate conversation, but so Hartlepool, you've always been in Hartlepool, and
And
then starting as a councillor in a town that actually no one else would traditionally stand in, is quite a courageous thing, isn't it? Why?
It's
Why did you do it?
so I'm not originally from Hartlepool. So I moved to Hartlepool in 2020 from Manchester. Uh,
Did you?
yeah. So Manchester Salford is where I came first when I came to the UK in
Okay.
2008, and I was kind of having, you could call it a midlife crisis or change of scenario or however you want to put it. So and I was working with a healthcare firm called Four Seasons Healthcare.
Okay.
And then I was saying, see, I need to change the scenario. Could you suggest me to go somewhere? So they said, we've got two places. We've got a place in Wirral in Liverpool, if you are interested, and we've got
Right.
another place called Hartlepool. And I'm like, Hartlepool? I've never heard of that place. I'll go there. And uh,
Brilliant.
and that's how I came in March. I came to Hartlepool on 3rd of March 2020. And 8th of March, everything got shut down because of COVID. So even if I wanted to go back, I couldn't go back.
Brilliant.
But again,
And then?
I came to Hartlepool, start living near the marina, overlooking the sea. I loved the place, fell in love with the place. Family moved over, bought a house, and 2024, I stood for elections because I wanted to make a change. A few things you see, like I always believe, if you want to be, or if you want to see change, be the part of the change as well. Participate in that change. So I realize there's a big gap in where ethnic minorities and BAME communities coming together, coming forth to be a part of that change. We all like to tuck away, side, pay our taxes, do our jobs, and then have a living. So, but I said, if you need changes, be the change, and that's kind of motivated me to be in politics and campaign and get on with it and get speak to people. So, second year now, I sit as a vice chair for Adult and Community-Based Services. I sit as a vice chairman for planning. I sit on TVCA, Health and Scrutiny Wellbeing for the whole of Tees Valley. Um, as you know, I sit on as a director for Teesside International Airport. I'm on Health and Welfare Committee. So I'm also director for North East in Hartlepool NHS as a public governor. So yeah, there's quite a lot I've been involved into, and yeah, now kabaddi and sports. So
Yeah, and tell us about it. So Jeff's just admitted he's a kabaddi champion,
Well,
and
wow,
I
he's
wouldn't
gonna
say
have a kabaddi off with you tomorrow. Is what he's gonna
yeah.
do.
absolutely. I will call you on the stage, and
I'm,
then
I'm,
let's
I'm
show some mojaf.
definitely not a kabaddi champion, but I have played the game before. I was just saying, Ammar, actually, it's such a unique sport, and it's obviously very big in the subcontinent, and it's kind of a combination of everything, isn't it? It's a bit of wrestling, it's a bit
Yes,
get a bit of cardio in,
yeah,
it's kind of everything. But it's massive in the subcontinent, but not so big here in the UK. So I
yeah.
guess for yourself to raise the profile of something,
Uh, It was
uh,
still there, Jeff. It was still there, but it was kind of safeguarded by specific community. They didn't want to get it out.
right,
They kept it within themselves,
right.
and the game kind of got contained its own in that
What,
Indian.
what, for what reason then? What was the reason for that? Because you would want to glorify and make it the biggest thing, right? Is that not
Exactly. So that's why I question, like, why not? So there was a lot of associations and federations which plays, and they kind of that politics did not kind of work out. So I was lucky enough to be a medium to collaborate between three different regional associations and bring them together and give a bigger platform for Kabaddi itself. So this particular Tri-Nations, even though Kabaddi was in UK since 2006, so it took us 21 years to bring Kabaddi out of that little fence it's been caged in. So this is a landmark, I would say, and more to come. Working hard with different associations, federations across the world, and especially my ambition is with to have a Commonwealth combined federation where at least all as 56 nations can work towards, and put in some showcase, some platform where people can participate from the Commonwealth.
so? In India and the subcontinent, how big is Kabaddi? How big is it as a sport?
Have you heard of cricket in India?
A little bit, yeah.
So cricket is a religion. You can't say on public platform that you only heard little bit about cricket in
And
India.
a little bit about cricket and obviously and how big it is in the subcontinent. No, because we're around a lot of people from the subcontinent. That's all they live and breathe cricket. Like
Exactly. So
we live and breathe football.
yeah,
Okay, they live and breathe cricket. But
Yeah.
where does it stand in terms of like? I would say in the UK, you have football is by far is number one sport. You probably
Then
got
followed by rugby.
yeah, well, rugby, boxing, tennis.
Yeah.
They're all pretty big. Athletics is pretty big. Um, you know, so in that context, where would you put
Kabaddi is the rugby of India.
okay, is it really that big?
Yeah. So the biggest franchise you have in cricket in India is the IPL, which is
Yeah.
almost a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
And Pro Kabaddi is the next.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's not an Olympic sport though, is it? Or is it
It's
in
not Olympic. It's not even a Commonwealth sport. The reason is Commonwealth is filled their bandwidth. They don't have any more space to
okay,
add more games onto it.
okay.
So that's why my ambition is to do something parallel and get Kabaddi on its own as a Commonwealth federation.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So we are a registered company. Pardon? Sorry, I missed that.
Sorry, no, go.
So it's just it's a registered community interest company, which is my Marinus United Sporting Club, and also the same thing to do with KCC or Kabaddi Confederation of the Commonwealth. It's a CIC which I'm keenly to promote after the Tri-Nations, and we've got letters written to His Majesty to be the patron of it. So moving along that lines and speaking to different nations under the Commonwealth to rally under that banner, and hopefully do something in parallel with the Commonwealth Games. I know the next Commonwealth Games is in Scotland, so we got presented with an opportunity where we can showcase that match or that particular ambition. And if this all works out well, we would have a bigger chunk of Kabaddi given out for the community and given out to the world.
Great. I think it's fantastic. So, what's happening tomorrow then? Talk us through it.
So what happening tomorrow? It's the Tri-Nations Kabaddi Championship, and we've got a women's showcase as well for who plays kabaddi. Now, the main reason for the Tri-Nation is one, most of them in the north doesn't really know what kabaddi is and how was it played. They've not seen it live. All they heard, some of them have heard it. It was used to be an old Channel 4 game which used to broadcast around 2015's, 2015's. It was broadcasted for a few months and then got shut down. So it's more like showcasing them and kind of uh, introducing it again back to the community. And it has to be an international level. The reason is we kind of combined three different federations which stood separate and didn't want to come together, which is England Kabaddi Association, British Kabaddi Association, and Scottish Kabaddi. And we've got England Kabaddi Union as well, which is more universities themed. They've not been in the picture yet, but they will be a part of the beach version next month. So tomorrow it will be a cultural integration. We've got a cohesion uh, event as well through it. So the first bit will be started as a parade of nations where there are different cultural references from India. We've got some Afro-Caribbean communities doing their attire, flags, and walking into the stage. And then we've got dance performances. Then we've got the matches. We got some short interviews. Ammar's kindly said he's going to do a keynote speech and a little story. So that's there. And then Matt Story, our Police and Crime Commissioner, is going to flag it off the first match. And then during the half-term break, we've got my EIDO club, which I'm a part of. So I do practice samurai swords. So they are doing a demonstration, a Taiuchi, we call it. So they're going to show that and a bit of Jodo. Then I've got one of our Indian rappers. He's not Indian, but he's our Hartlepool born and bred. He's doing a Kabaddi specific new single, and then followed by some of the other music, what he has done before. And then good food, hospitality packages, commemorative beer, which is called Maharaj. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a London Kabaddi, Tri-Nations Kabaddi specific beer as well, which is a spiced lager. And continue with the games and the presentation. So that's basically the whole schedule of it.
Brilliant. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And obviously now Jeff's getting his kabaddi kit on and the sort of running around. And just for those listeners and viewers, Aaron, that probably can't visualize what it is. Talk us through the actual game, the rules.
Yeah.
How do you compete? How do you win? And then what happens?
Yeah, I will start with a bit of history behind the game as well. So it
Please.
it will be good to know what it is, how it started. So this game has references to our mythology, Indian mythology called Mahabharata, right? Where the war lasted over ages, like years and years, and there's this character called Abhimanyu, or he was son of Arjuna, and there is this specific formation called Chakravyuh or Chakravyuha, right? Where it's impenetrable, you can't go through it, you can't get out. It's very solid and secure. You get in, you're gonna die. So the only person who knew it to get in was Abhimanyu's father, Arjuna, and get out. But Arjuna was not there to do it. So his son, it said that he heard the description of Chakravyuha in his mother's womb, and he kind of memorized it. And again, it's mythology, so don't question me. How did the baby knew it from his mother's womb? But yeah, go with the story. And he knew how to get in, but when the part came to how to get out, his mother actually stood up and walked away. So Abhimanyu at the time of that war jumped in saying, I know how to get in, but didn't realize he can't get out. So he kind of martyred in that war. And then after years, there was this particular moment was immortalized and changed into a game called Kabaddi, where this is the only game in the world where offense is done by one person, but the defense is done as a team. So it kind of builds in that motivation, that courage in you. It's okay to go alone, and you can definitely find a way to come back. And that kind of transcends to different aspects of our life as well. So this was an ancient war game, or a game used to resolve conflict between clans and different regiments to find out who is the bravest, who is the strongest. So they go in and they come out, and they come out with pride, say, I raided, or I went in and I tagged as many as possible. Now that's the mythology part of it. Now the actual game has um, heritage or history dating back to 4,000 years, which started as a circle format, as I said, related to the Mahabharata. And then now we standardized it as a sport in a 4x4 square or a rectangle, you want to call it. It is played in a square format or a rectangle format. And it has 7 members in the team. So it's 7 versus 7, two teams, when we've got some reserves and substitutes in case of if there's any violent incidents, which is very unlikely in Kabaddi, I would say. But yeah, you have substitutes who are going to come in. So there's 3 to 5 substitute maximum. The team strength can be maximum 12, and then you get your coach and your manager. So aim of the game, 2 halves. The full court is not bigger than a basketball court. It's 10 meter wide by 13 meters in length, and 6.5 meters will be half court. So a full court is 30 meters, 6.5 meters length, your two sides, and one person sends someone called as a raider to the opposition. His aim is to go tag or touch any number of opponents as he can, and you can tag them and touch them however you want, with your toe, with your head, with your hand. And you can, the touch can be anything. It could be a touch on the t-shirt, on their legs, on the elbow, on the face, on the chin, on their hair. It doesn't matter. As long as there's a touch, you get a point, and you only get the point when you're safely back onto your side of the court, or your hand or your leg, your toe should be crossing that midline. So what the defenders would do, they won't let you do that. So they will kind of pin you down or tackle you down or lightly push you outside the court. Now, how you land after this push is debatable. You might land on your head, your side, your back. Don't know, but it's only a light push. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it is. They get you out. So if that means then your raid became unsuccessful. But if you touch tag and get back to your side within 30 seconds, you get,
Yeah.
well, yeah, 30 second is the time you get, because that again is an adaptive form. Earlier, it used to be a breath, and you have to chant kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. The minute you stop chanting, they will attack you, because we didn't have something called as a stopwatch back then. But luckily we got it now. So you still have to chant, but you don't have to hold your breath. So which is 30 seconds. And each raid is 30 seconds, and they take turns. The offense becomes defense becomes offense, and the whole match is played for a maximum of 40 minutes.
Oh, that's intensive, man. Jack, what's the matter? Are you under the spotlight, or are you just pulling a grimace?
Understand. I didn't realize that there had been a change in rule where you didn't have to say kabaddi, kabaddi, kabaddi.
You have to still chant kabaddi, but it's not in a breath.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to just say kabaddi.
That's when your breath went, you could be knocked out, right?
Yeah. So now they can attack you anytime they want, but they will only attack you if you cross the balk line. Okay. So there's two lines. There's two lines. There's actually like 3 lines in the whole game, which your mid line, your balk line, and your bonus line.
Okay.
So if you cross the balk line, that means the raid is active.
So just for our listeners, is there a match which was like really groundbreaking and interesting, that was like world famous, that we could potentially look at YouTube or somewhere just to get a real feel?
Pro Kabaddi in India is the biggest right now.
Okay.
We've got a lot of international matches going on. We had our own World Cup a couple of months ago, which happened in Wolverhampton. There have been quite a few nice matches there, especially the final between India and England was something nice, because England started in a low note, but the difference was 4 points at the end.
Okay.
So, which was quite nice. And we've got something called the terms. The terms are quite dramatic as well. We've got a do or die situation. We've got a super tackle. You've got a super raid. Where a do or die is if you have 2 successive, or if your first raid was unsuccessful, that means you didn't tag anyone, or you had to come back to your court. Your second raid.
30-second warning. Sorry, just to let you know, we've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then if you don't come back in, you have to go into a do or die.
On the hour, every hour, from the heart of the community to the pulse of the
Look forward
world.
to seeing you tomorrow.
Spice Radio News.
All the best. Well done. Thank you.